In this video, I'll cover branch method B with real numbers. And what's this method about? Well, I'm going to show you with models how it's different from branch method A. Suppose I want to illustrate one whole with this bar. Next, let's split this into half. Well, we will say A has half and B has half. Next, what if I were to say A doesn't have half? A has 5 more than half. Well, A's portion would therefore be half plus 5, with this half representing half a unit and this 5 representing an actual quantity. Now, this is B's portion. Is it half still? No, it is now 5 less than half. So these two, they add up still to form one whole, but showing a plus 5 here, you have to show minus 5 on the other side. Well, let's do this using the branch method. One whole, and this branch, half plus 5, the other branch will be half minus 5. Next, let's say 3/5 goes to another person with an actual 10. The other branch will be 2/5 minus 10. Next, suppose one branch is 1/7 minus 4. The other branch has to be 6/7 plus 4 to continue forming one whole with the two branches. And that's it. This is basically branch method B. So here we go. Question 1. Vanessa spent 1/6 of her allowance on bus fare. Okay, so 1/6 up here, 5/6 down here. Looks quite standard, like branch method A. Well, this is how you know you are dealing with branch method B. 1/3 of the remainder on food and $18 on books. Now, they didn't say $18 of the remainder. So from this remainder, we will have 1/3 on food, and this is the actual $18 on books. So this is what I mean by with real numbers. Now, the other branch has to form one whole, which means if this is 1/3, this has to be 2/3. If this is plus 18, this has to be negative 18. We are next told that this is $4.50 right here. So at this point, we will form an equation. So 2/3 minus 18 equals $4.50. Bring the negative 18 to the right side, which means that's a plus 18. Next, 2 units represent $22.50. How much did she spend on food? Well, this is the portion spent on food, yeah, 1/3. So we can just divide by 2 to obtain 1 unit out of 3. 22.50 divided by 2, we get 11.25. So this is what we're interested in, food. So not always do we have to go all the way to the beginning to find out what was at the beginning, yeah? It depends on the question. And that's the end of question 1. Next, Ben sold 24 rubber ducks on Thursday. Okay, so let's show this. Now notice that this is left blank because I have no idea what the remainder is. This could be 1,000 ducks, we don't know. Could be 1 million ducks, we don't know. So I'm just going to show 24 actual ducks sold and an unknown here. He sold 2/5 of this remainder right here. Okay, so 2/5 of this remainder, an additional 15 actual ducks on Friday, which means 3/5 minus 15 on the remaining, which is Saturday here. Now we are told that he still had 165 to be sold on Saturday. That means we can say that this 3/5 minus 15 represent 165. Now push this negative 15 to the right side, we get positive 15, that's 180. Find 1 unit, find 5 units. So once we find these two branches, which is 5/5, representing 800, we can fill 800 here in this blank. The question now is, how many did he have at first? Well, that's this quantity right here, which we can see clearly is the sum of these two real numbers. So that would be 824. There were some roses at a florist. Okay, so on Friday, the florist sold 1/3 and an additional 14. So this is how you recognize a branch method B question. Fraction plus a real number. So this is how it looks like, 1/3 on Friday plus 14. Next, the other branch, 2/3 minus 14. On Saturday, 3/4 of the remaining, so we are going to branch out from the remaining here. And we have to show an additional 25 on Saturday, which means 1/4 minus 25 left. We are now told this represents 98 actual roses. So let's form an equation with this information. 1/4 minus 25 is 98. We can find 1 unit being 1, 2, 3. And if we want to know how many sold on Friday, which is this quantity here, we need to know what is this quantity here, which is 4 over 4. So 4 over 4, 492. So we can add 492 right there. Now we can form a new equation. 2/3 minus 14 is 492. Bring that negative 14 over. That's 2 units. We are interested in what's sold on Friday. So we want to know what's 1 unit plus 14. So 1/3 is 253. So the quantity we want is, adding 14 to it, 267. Next, there were some books in a box. Faris took 25%. Oh, we have percentage here. Well, we can write percentages as fractions so that it looks more like a branch method that we are familiar with. But, well, in percentage terms, we're always dealing with a maximum of 100% anyway. So let's see. We can just reflect it as 25% plus another 5 books to Faris. Well, what's 100% minus 25%? That's 75%. And indicate minus 5 here. Next, Indra took 50% of the remainder. Okay, so 50% and additional 3 books. That's to Indra, which means the other branch is 50% minus 3, and we are told there are 8 books left. So with this, we can form an equation. 50% minus 3 is 8. 50% is 11. 100% of the remainder here, these 2 branches, is 22. So we're going to write 22 here. Now, a new equation can be formed. 75% of the total minus 5 is 22. So we're going to bring that minus 5 over. So 75% of the total is 27. How many at first? Which means you are interested in 100% of the beginning amount. So that's 36. Zaini had some stamps. He gave his brother 2/5 and additional 28. Well, branch method B. 2/5 plus 28 goes to the brother. 3/5 minus 28 remaining. Now he gave 1/4 and to the sister. Well, to the sister, and had 1/14 left. So for this second branch, it's like the usual branch method without the real number to it. Well, we can form an equation that's easy. 3/4 represent 114. 1 unit, therefore 38. 4 units, 152. Why find 4 units? Because that's the sum of these 2 branches, which means we can write 152 here, from which we can find, we can form a new equation. So 3/5 minus 28 is 152. Bring that negative 28 over, plus 28. Next, Zaini at first, which means we're interested in the 1 whole, 5 over 5. So just divide by 3 to find 1 unit, then times 5 to get 5 over 5. 300. Jeremy spent 1/6 of his money and additional $22 on some food. Next, he spent 2/3 and additional $35 on drinks. He was left with $11. So form an equation with this. 1/3 minus 35 is 11. Find 1 unit, followed by 3 units, which means we can write 138 here, which means an equation can be formed, and we're interested in 6 over 6. How much money he had at first. So the usual manipulation is done, and just find 6 units. Okay, J, T, and H shared a box of marbles. J took 4 more than 1/3 of the marbles in the box. 4 more than 1/3. Well, that's 1/3 plus 4 for JW, which means the other branch is 2/3 minus 4. Thomas took 12 more than half of the remaining, so half plus 12. Haris took the last 8, so half minus 12 would represent Haris, and that's actually 8 marbles. So here, half minus 12 is 8, half is 20, 2 over 2 is 40, which means we can work backwards, and this is 40. From here, a new equation, 2/3 minus 4 is 40. How many in the box at first? Okay, so we are interested in 3 over 3 then. And the answer is 66. Well, by now, hopefully you can see the pattern to branch method B questions, right? A fraction of something and then additional real number written here. So 1/3 plus 12, that's to spent on the present. 2/3 minus 12 is the remainder. Next, 2/5 and an additional 25 on books, which means 3/5 minus 25. And we are told 47 actual dollars left. So from here, an equation, 3/5 minus 25 is 47. bring that 25 over. Next, find 5 units. With this, write 120 here and form a new equation with that information. So 2/3 minus 12 is 120. Bring that minus 12 over. And we are asked how much money did she have at first, which means we want 3/3, the combination of these two branches. So find 3 units and you should obtain 198. Wei Xiong spent a 6 on appliances, additional 3500 on furniture. Next, he spent 7/8 on renovation and had 1/8 left, and that we are told is $2,900. So how much at first? We're interested in 6/6. Okay, so first thing we can do is 1/8 is 2,900, 8 units is $23,200. Here we have a new equation to be formed. That will be 5/6 minus this equals to this. And because we want the initial sum, we will find 6 units, getting us $32,040. And now level 2, 3 girls A, B, and C divided some crystals amongst themselves. Amy took 4 crystals and 1/4 of the remaining. Whoa, this is completely different from what we've been doing so far. The model actually looks like this. We don't know what this real number is. Therefore, saying that Amy took 4 actual crystals means I have no idea what this is. I have no idea. It could be 1 million here. I don't know. Okay. Now, from this unknown, 1/4 was taken by Amy as well. So Amy took 4 and 1/4 of whatever this unknown is. Okay, next, leaving her with 3/4 of whatever unknown this is. Next, Beth took 4 crystals. Okay, from here, 4 crystals were taken. Now, because we have no idea what the real number here is, we know it's 3 units, but we don't know what the actual number is, I'm going to draw a blank. So that's to Beth. And 1/4 of whatever this remainder is. Okay, so 1/4 of whatever this remainder is goes to Beth. Next, finally, Chloe took the remaining 24. So we know for sure if this is 1/4, this is 3/4, and this is 24 taken by Chloe. Well, this we can work with. Okay, so 3/4 is 24, 4/4 is 32, which means we can plonk our 32 right here. Hey, these two are real numbers added together, which will represent 3/4, 3 units. So let's do that. Which means 3/4 is 36. We can find 4/4, which is 48, which we can put right here. How many crystals were there at first? Can you see these two real numbers adding up to the initial sum? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. 48 plus 4 is 52. Okie dokie, Green Earth Company had a water tank full in the morning. The company used 10% in the afternoon and 500 liters, actual liters, in the evening. So what's left? 90% minus 500. Okay, here comes the confusing part. In the end, the water left was 20 liters less than half the capacity. Looking at this, it may not be that easy to understand, but with a model, hopefully, it's better. So this is what we're left with. And what we are left with is 20 liters less than half the tank. Well, that means half the tank is 20 actual liters more than what we're left with. Well, this represents half the tank. Okay, we can form an equation here. 90% minus 500, if you add another 20 liters here, it's going to represent 50% of the tank. And if we simplify, this is it. Now what can we conclude from this? 90% of the tank minus 480 actual liters will get us 50% of the tank. Does it not tell you that this is 40%? Sorry, yeah, 40%. Yeah? Because 90% minus 40% will give us 50%. We can conclude, therefore, that 40% is 480 actual liters, which is our equation. So, what was the water left in the tank in the end? Well, we're interested in 90% minus 500. So, let's find 90% here, which is this quantity, and we will subtract 500 liters, which is 1080 minus 500, giving us 580 liters. So in my experience, this helps, drawing a model helps with understanding what's going on here. Okay, I, J, and K bought a bag of cookies. They shared it. Ivan took half the bag and half a cookie. Okay, wait, can you see, even though the fraction is the same, we're talking about completely different things here. Half the bag of cookies. Now, for all we know, the bag contains 100 cookies. That would be 50 actual cookies. But we are not told the quantity. We just know half a unit, half the bag. But this is half an actual cookie. Why he would do that, I don't know, but that's what it is. Okay, so we can show it with a diagram looking like this. T here represents the total in the bag, which we don't know. That's an unknown. But this is half an actual cookie taken by Ivan. So what's the other branch going to be? Half T minus half. Jack took half of the remainder, so I'll denote that by writing R. Now, the reason why I'm writing T and R, so that I don't have a situation where I'm writing half plus half. That is not a nice thing to do. Yeah. So half R plus half. So Jack. Next, the other branch must be half R minus half. And we are told at this point that Kevin took the rest of the 11 actual cookies. So this here represents 11 actual cookies. Okay, let's form an equation with that. Half R minus half is therefore 11 cookies. Bring that half over, it's positive half. This is half R. What's R then? Times 2. And that's 23 actual cookies. Okay, that means this here is 23 actual cookies. Finding out the sum of these two branches, 23. From here, a new equation can be formed. So that will be half T minus half equals 23. Bring that half over, 23 and a half. How many cookies in the bag at first? It's actually going to be 47 cookies. There were some marbles in a container. Leroy took out half of them plus 3 more. So this right here, hopefully you can recognize as a branch method B question. So half the total plus an actual 3 marbles went to Leroy. The other branch is like so. Olivia took out 1/3 plus 2 more for Olivia. Next, Ryan took a quarter of the remainder plus 5 more for Ryan. Well, you see, as questions get more and more difficult, you might see more branches. But the technique remains the same. In the end, there were only 25. How many at first? So we are basically going to work our way all the way like this. Yeah. So, well, first equation, 3/5 minus 5 is 25. 3/4 is 30. Bring the minus 5 over. Find 4 out of 4. That's 40. We're going to write that here. Next. 2/3 minus 2 is 40. Bring the minus 2 over. And find 3 out of 3. Which means this right here is 63. Okay, we're almost there. 1/2 minus 3 is therefore 63. Bring that negative 3 over. And find 1 whole, which is 2 out of 2. That's 132. Micah spent half of his money and an additional 324 on television. Okay, well, there it is. Then he spent 1/6 of the remainder and an additional 55 on the DVD. If you even know what a DVD is. So 506 minus 55. Then he spent, oh my goodness, what's this? Alien right here. It's 0.4. Now, hang on. Is that $0.4? No. That is, if you know your decimals, 4/10. That's a fraction. Okay. Now, I can write 4/10 or I can write 2/5. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And an additional $18 on the music player, which means the other branch is 6/10 minus 18. And we are told this is 168 actual dollars. So we are going to find out the cost of the TV, not the total, the TV. Okay, so first one will be this equation right here, leading us to 310 being written right here. Next, this equation will lead us to 438 written right here. And with this info, you have to remember we are not looking for the total. Yeah. So we will have half being 762, but we only want half plus 324, which is the TV's cost. So therefore, 762 plus 324 will yield 1086, which is the answer. Are you ready? It's level 3 time. So how complicated can a question get at level 3? We shall find out. Half of the total and another half a pie. So I'm not going to write half plus half. I'm going to write half T plus half went to Chris. So this is half t minus half. Jane ate half of the remainder and another half. So Jane ate half R1 plus half. So that's half R2 minus half. Megan ate half of the pies that's left and another half. So Megan ate half R2 plus an actual half of a pie. Next, finally, Yongxing ate half and another half, which means the remainder is half R3 minus half. There were no pies left after that. This is going to be a 0. Okay. What this means is we can form an equation. So half R3 minus half is equal to 0, which means we can push negative half over, giving us a half. So we can find R3, which is half times 2, which is 1. So this right here is 1 pie. Next, half R2 minus half is 1, which means R2 is 3. 3 can be written here. Next, half R3 minus half is 3, which means R3 is 7. So this will therefore be giving us that. Next, the total here is therefore half t, the total, minus half, giving us 7, which means we will add half to the 7, and the total is therefore 7.5 times 2, giving us 15 actual pies. Next up, Mrs. Tan baked some muffins one morning. She put 12 in the bag and packed another 38 in a container. Okay, so 12 actual muffins in the bag, another 38. Okay. Problem now is we don't know what this is, which means I'll draw a blank. Yeah, but we know for sure 12 in the bag, 38 in a container, 50 packed away so far. Whatever this remainder is, she sold 1/5 to Mrs. Rosner, and the rest was divided equally among herself and 3 friends. How many people are there? 3? No. That's Mrs. Tan and 3 friends. That's 4 people. And it's shared equally. Well, you see these 4 units here? Doesn't that mean it's 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5? Okay, well, anyway. From this, Mrs. Tan shared 1/3 of her share to her children. Okay, 1/3 of her share. Now, not every branch will always come from the lower branch. Yeah, no, it depends on the situation. In this case, the branch comes from Mrs. Tan because we are told she gave 1/3 of her share, Mrs. Tan's share. Okay, if her children had 10 muffins, oh, right here we know 1/3 represents 10, and that is useful, which means we can find 3/3, which means we can show 30 for Mrs. Tan. Oh, if Mrs. Tan got 30, the 3 friends must have gotten 30, 30, 30 because there was an equal share, yeah? That means the 4/5 must be 4 times 30 because that's Mrs. Tan and 3 friends, 4 people, each receiving 30. So this is 120 right here, muffins. And with this information, we can find 5/5 being 150. Question, how many were baked that morning? So that will be 50 plus 150, getting us 200 for the answer. A bus broke down. The passengers had to get onto other buses. 1/4 tried to board the first bus, but 4 of them did not manage to do so. Understand now, this is not +4, this is -4. Okay, 1/4 tried, but 4 didn't make it, so that's -4. Then what's left behind? 3/4 plus 4. When the second bus came, half tried to get on, but 6 did not get on. So that's on the second bus. So this is 1/2 plus 6. When the third bus came, 3/4 left. They got on the third bus, and the rest did not manage to board it. There were 8 actual passengers left. So with this, we can form an equation. 1/4 is equals to 8. 4/4 is 32. Next, 1/2 plus 6 is 32, which means 2/2 is 52. How many passengers on the bus when it broke down? So we're interested in 4/4. So 3/4 plus 4 is 52, and therefore 4/4 is 64. And that's it. This is branch method B with real numbers. The additional thing is just real numbers being added to your branches. Hope you found this useful.